All right, so about a year ago, I made a video and it was about what to do when people don't like you. But then in that video, I said, I'm gonna make another video about what to do when people don't like you and they have a position of power or the ability to influence your life. And I'm a busy person, I never got round to it, so here we go. What to do when people don't like you and they have the power and influence over your life. What do you do in those situations? Well, let's talk about people who have the ability, firstly, let's talk about people who have the ability to influence your life and have power and influence over you. People like that could be your boss at work. That's one that sticks out in my mind. Someone who may be investing in your business. Someone who may be investing in your business. An investor. It could be someone who, I don't know, it could be your landlord who doesn't like you. It could be an in-law who doesn't like you. It could be many people in a position of power who have at least the ability to influence how the tide turns for you and what to do in those scenarios. So what I would suggest, the first thing that I would suggest is to maintain your cool. Maintain your cool, and that's probably the hardest one. Maintaining your cool. Maintaining your cool when someone doesn't want you to marry their daughter. Maintaining your cool when you're on probation and your manager doesn't like you. Maintaining your cool when your landlord is making your life hell. Not easy, not easy. And life is not easy. But you know what? You're here until you're not. And so you get on with it. But in more detail. So I know it's easier said than done. In more detail. So the first thing you really need to do is maintain your cool, at least in their presence. Don't let them have the satisfaction of knowing that they got to you. The minute you show any sign of aggression, then they already know that they won. They already know. Some of these people, you have to understand, have deep insecurities. Some of these people, you have to understand, have deep insecurities, and it's actually got nothing to do with you whatsoever. It has nothing to do with you whatsoever. These people have deep insecurities and they're projecting that onto you. So what they're wanting on a psychological and subconscious standpoint is for you to reflect their energy back at them to validate themselves. The insecure landlord that is making living difficult for you, the minute you shout or vent or show your frustration, you are reflecting what's inside them on the outside of you, and it almost validates their energy vibration. Just maintain your cool. The worst thing people who are insecure want is a neutral reflection. Someone standing in front of them being neutral. You might think you're losing in the moment, but the worst thing they want is neutral. But it's not even about them, it's about you. Maintain your cool in the situation, because ultimately, if you lose your cool, you're only going to make a situation worse. So when you're in-laws giving you a hard time, just remain neutral. I know it's hard, just remain neutral. The next thing you want to do is, you know, self-care in private. You know, you can write a letter or write a text or write whatever to these people who don't like you and are making your life hell, venting your frustration. Write a text or whatever, or a letter. Pretend that it's to them and then never send it. You know, that can be a way to vent out your frustration. You know, tell your boss at work how you have kids that you need to provide for. Tell your boss at work how you work harder than all these people and they're just giving you, you know, informal meetings, formal meetings, trying to, you know, call you up on certain things that they're letting other people get away with. You know, vent all of that into a letter and then burn that letter, never send it. You know, it can just help. You know, it can help you get those negative emotions out. You know, so the second thing you need to do is a bit of self-care. And the last thing that you need to do, if possible, not always possible, but if possible, try and plan your exit strategy. You know, if your boss really does not like you at work and you're on probation and you know that your probation is coming to an end and you're not sure if you're gonna, you know, get kept on or whatever, then it's always best to back yourself up and just plan your exit strategy and keep it on the low. You know, start applying for other jobs. You know, start looking around at what's out there. You know, so that at least have ideally some job offers, you know, in the pipeline. And before you get told that you're not being kept on, if you have that feeling in your gut, then take another job. You know, if you're in, you know, if your in-laws are really going to give you that hard a time and you're about to get married and you know that it's unlikely to change, you know, consider whether the relationship is worth it. I know people say you should fight for love no matter what, but, you know, and I've learned this, that love sometimes isn't enough. You know, love on its own sometimes isn't enough when other things don't fall into place. The universe, unfortunately, often fails to be a fairy tale, unfortunately. But these are the tests, you know, these are the tests, and sometimes you've got to fail your way to success. If your landlord is giving you a real hard time, then, you know, try and look at moving somewhere else. And I guarantee when you present options, or when people get the inkling that you have one foot out the door, they start changing their ways temporarily until they, you know, resettle their focus. They think that you're back where they want you, and then they go back to their old ways. So a lot of these people, it's about their own, it's about them more than it's about you. But anyway, let me know what you think. I'm going to put the old video that I made in the link in the description for about a year ago when my hair was looking very different. Keeping it a little shorter these days. It's hard though. My hair and my beard grow too quick. But anyway, I digress. Let me know what you think about this. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work and want to leave a donation, there's a link for that in the description. With that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. For mortgage advice tailored towards your individual needs, contact PGB Mortgages today. Let them guide you through your home buying journey. Contact details are in the description.